Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is the Den, episode number 1.
The Dan.
Boy Steve, aka Bronx, and
I'm Matt, Nemo, whatever you want. Don't matter. Same difference.
same difference.
We're back. We're
So
fucking back, baby.
we are back. We are back. We are back. We're starting a brand new podcast. This is the Den, and this is all about our beloved Chicago Bears. Beloved
Hell
Chicago
yeah.
Bears. So right off the bat, what is the reason you started the podcast or you wanted to join in on this podcast?
I don't know, man. We tried the other one. I felt like we tried to take on too much at once, but like I'm definitely I mess with the podcast vibe, and like it's good, especially for something so near and dear to our hearts are stinky, shitty Bears. But we're on the upturn. But yeah, no, it's just nice to have a place to present ideas. Just nice to be back. Honestly, really.
Yeah,
Excited.
I loved the podcast before, and like you said, we did a little too much. We tried to do the Call of Duty. We tried to do every damn Chicago sport.
Yeah, facts.
And then the mix, try to combine the two. Obviously, that was a tough undertaking. It was a lot of editing, a lot of work.
Yes, it was.
And I feel like this one should be a little bit easier, a little bit more smooth, and it's basically a team and a sport that we both absolutely love.
Yeah, facts.
All right, moving on to our very first segment, the Chicago sports landscape as a whole. We'll start off with the baseball. Abysmal.
Yeah,
Just abysmal. Like the Sox are on a record-setting pace, although it's not the pace that we want to set, right? We could potentially lose the most games in Major League Baseball history. Like
that could be, yes, unfortunately.
At the start of the year, I was actually somewhat like, man, these guys could be competitive. Do they make the playoffs? Probably not, because at the time I didn't think we had the pitching. But right now, our pitching is the best part of our whole team.
Yeah, I mean, well, not our bullpen. The White Sox have 27 blown saves, 27 wins and 25 blown saves. We could literally be above 500 right now if we didn't have as many blown saves as we did. It's insane.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I expect to see some names gone this week.
100%. I mean, I'm hoping not Robert, but it's definitely a possibility. I'm hoping they keep him for the future, but I wouldn't be upset to see Eloy go. He's just kind of just injured mess.
DeYoung,
I don't know who. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna want Moncada. DeYoung, he was a sign and trade anyways.
Same with Eric Fetty.
Yeah, he's
what a surprise that guy's been, though, huh?
I mean, I'm surprised, but I'm not. Like, it's one of those where it's like, at the beginning of the year, you hope that he can get back to that form. I mean, he had a solid 5-6 years before he went and played overseas. So
no, he was terrible.
He was all right, like a 5 year. I mean, okay, he's in the league for 5 years, so you know what I mean. You're not in the league for 5 years if you can at least throw a good game every now and then. Don't get me wrong, 100% surpassed expectations. Like, that was at the beginning of the year. Like, okay, maybe this guy can do something, and he has done it for us. Unfortunately, his bullpen and his lineup can never get it done for him. I mean, what is he, 7-4, I think, but still, yeah, a lot of games where he has like a good start, and then he either gets the no decision or the loss because
we can't.
His offense is abysmal.
I think we've been, funny story. We are the most shutout team this year. Second, the Cubs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind Cubs fans, but Cubs fans still shit on the Sox, and it's like you're in last place too. Doesn't matter that you're only 8 games below 500. Neither of us are going anywhere. It's like,
And they went on the run like they did last year. The Cubs, where last year
they always start hot at the beginning of the year.
10 out. Well, before the All-Star break, they'd won last year 10 out of 11, and I was arguing on the last podcast with Chris about how Cody Bellinger's value was never more than at that trade deadline, and I still stick to that because this year he's terrible. He's making more money. He's hurt, and now you can't even ship him because nobody will take him. So once again, his value to this team was never more than at that trade deadline last year. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? More than likely, maybe they. I don't even think they sell. I think they just stay put. To be
Well,
honest.
so I don't have the quote pulled up. If I find it, maybe cut it in here. But what's his face? Their
Jehovah's.
I don't know, one of their higher ups on the GM said that like right now, if they did nothing, he'd be totally fine with that. But if they saw an opportunity to sell, they would. And they did pick up Nate Pearson today. The Cubs traded for him. Maybe it was yesterday. No, it was today. It was today at 1:30. They traded for him. He's a right-hander from the Blue Jays. You know, his stats this year, not great. Negative 0.6 WAR. No wins, one loss with a 5.63 ERA. But apparently he's like getting better. Who did they trade for him? They received some minor league outfielder. So 2 minor leaguers in return. You could call that a sell, but not really. It's kind of just like mid for mid. I would call that like whatever you call it. But yeah, if I were the Cubs, I'd stay put. I mean, unless you get a huge package, where it's like, oh, give us, Morel or Bellinger. Not like anyone's going to want Bellinger, but it's, you know what I mean? It's like, unless they get a big package to get some decent prospects back, I just see them staying put. I don't think they're ever going to buy, though. No way.
Yeah.
I mean, the Angels made that mistake last year.
Yeah, they did, and they ended up DFAing every single one.
Both of them. Both of them. And now Ronaldo Lopez,
Star.
horrid on the White Sox, lowest ERA in the American League. I don't know if still, but for most of the year so far.
Moving on to basketball. The Bulls, what are we doing? I mean, I will say I like the draft pick. He's playing well in the summer league, but once again, it's summer league. It's against other rookies.
Yeah,
it's not the cream of the crop. So who knows if he even is on the roster to start the year, or maybe he's I don't know where he would be. No DeMar.
Yeah.
Who do you sign with?
No. Sacramento, the Kings.
The Kings. Yes, he's back in Cali. Levine, what's his future? We don't know.
I don't know, man. He's been on the chopping block. Well, not on the chopping block. He's wanted to go for a few seasons, and like you can't look back on these like the last 4 years of the Bulls and not like kind of just like be like a what if, man. Like if Lonzo doesn't get hurt, the Bulls were in first place in the East, man. It's January. It was like early February. We're first in the East. Mm-hmm. So much could have come out of that, man. He was just kind of our facilitator. When he was gone, we were never able to pick up the pieces from that, and we kind of just threw away these last 4 years. I don't know.
Now Toby White's showing some promise.
Toby White is showing promise, and we got Giddey. We did get Josh Giddey. Say what you want. We're gonna keep the out of basketball stuff out of basketball, but like, he's not a bad. He's not a bad player. I feel like he's maybe peaked, but he could definitely still get better. He's still relatively young, and I know we did give away Caruso. I love Alex Caruso, one of the best defenders in the league. He could, for a really good team, he's a 6-man. For, an okay team, he could be a starter. It's sad to see him leave, but I'm one of the people that's more optimistic about the trade to where we could get some good upside from Josh Giddey. Mm-hmm. We shall see, though.
Yeah. I wasn't the biggest Caruso fan, but it is what it is. I think he spent more games hurt than he did play, but it is what it is. True. When he was there, he was a difference maker when he could be. All right, moving on to hockey. Connor Bedard wins Rookie of the Year.
I don't know. I don't really follow hockey, to be completely honest. The Blackhawks are trash, so.
Well, yeah, we get the number 2 pick. I don't know. We draft some defenseman. I couldn't even tell you his name.
Yeah.
But, future should be bright for Bedard and the Blackhawks. It's just going to be one of those. We're biding our time. We're waiting. We're adding pieces here and there. And eventually, hopefully, we have a Kane and Taves moment with Bedard and somebody else. And they just sort of skyrocket. I think it's possible.
I mean, I don't really follow hockey that much, but like some good news. Got a lot of some like close friends that are big hockey guys. And they say, not Blackhawks fans that say that there's reason to believe that we should be winning championships in the next decade, which is good news. Good news to me.
All right. To the meat and potatoes of this podcast, our Chicago Bears. We're going to start off with the offseason and the free agent signings Obviously, the biggest splash was in the running back room with DeAndre Swift,
Yep.
coming from the Eagles. 3 years, 24 million, with 14 of that being guaranteed. So for a running back, kind of pricey, but not
Kind of pricey, but he's proved it. He's proved it that he can do it. Slightly, it's a no-brainer. If you're the Eagles, obviously you're going to dump him to pick up Saquon. Like,
Saquon. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised there, but definitely, honestly, did not expect that we were going to grab Swift that fast. I mean, because for a split second, I swear, unless I'm tweaking, there was the Saquon could have landed at the Bears too.
yeah, but
And
I don't think Cole's willing to pay that much money.
no, a lot of money for a dude who we know is injury prone. I mean, remember it's
Yes.
football, right? That's why you don't see all these huge guaranteed
Mhm.
contracts. But
Mhm.
honestly, I'm excited. After Montgomery left, it was kind of like a void there that we tried to fill with some dudes, and it just never worked out the way we wanted it to. But I'm excited to finally have like a true RB1 back in the room.
That's gonna be good because we still have a room with Khalil Herbert,
Mhm.
who they were hoping would step up when Montgomery left. He did for a little bit. I think he does have a career 4.7 yards per carry, Khalil Herbert. So when he does get the rock, I mean, he's giving you 4.5, 5 yards a
Yeah,
carry, which is something we need. But you know, he's not DeAndre Swift. He's not Saquon Barkley. He's not David Montgomery. He's not
yeah.
he's not taking over games for you if you need him
Yeah.
to.
I mean, and there's a lot of times you look back at last season, you could be like, I always give, especially our offensive players, our defense stepped up big, but like a lot of slack, bro. You got Luke Getzey out there just making some absolutely just piss poor, atrocious calls. And
Brutal.
sometimes it makes him look bad, bro. We're throwing a screen pass on 3rd and 9. Like, come on, bro.
What we threw 6 screen passes in a row
Yeah.
on one point. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Next major move was Kevin Baird. I don't even know how to say his name right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Kevin Baird, safety from the Eagles, another Eagle. 2 years, 15 million, 7.5 guaranteed. Not an expensive sign, but
No.
he's
No.
stability. He's replacing Eddie Jackson in that safety spot. He was a former All Pro, who's making probably half of what Eddie Jackson would have made. And he's gonna help. He's only gonna help Jaquan Brisker. I mean, that kid's a stud.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
So another veteran back there.
We
I'm
saw some issues with our defense, with some
Mhm.
injuries. We didn't have a ton of depth, which was
Mhm.
an issue. And like I think like it says like right on here, like especially when Brisker got hurt. I don't remember when. We just had some injuries in the secondary that hurt us because we didn't really have anyone, behind them to help fill those slots when needed. Yeah, no, it's a good signing. I think, it's very cheap. He is a little bit older. We're talking football here. He is a little bit older, but it's a good signing. From what I've been able to ascertain, it's a solid signing for cheap for a dude that, yeah, he might be a little bit older, but he can definitely still make an impact in our secondary,
Oh,
for
for
the
sure.
better.
For sure. Which brings us to our next safety sign. Jonathan Owens coming over from the hated rival up north, the Packers.
GB.
2 years, 3.8 million. One of that guaranteed. Once again, like you said before, this guy's actually the depth piece that
Yeah.
we lacked. He's an upgrade from Hicks and some of the other safeties that stepped in when Brisker and Eddie Jackson got hurt. So just overall, pretty good signing there. I that's really all I have to say about that. He's a depth piece. Oh,
Yeah.
and he's married to Simone Biles.
There you go. In the
That, I mean,
Olympics tomorrow, the women's
yeah.
gymnastics. I was just watching.
I wonder if they're pulling up the screen for him at practice or something, being like, "Hey, come watch me." For the team. I think who was it? It was who was the defensive end that we traded to the Eagles? Robert Quinn. His sister was
Yeah.
running the Olympics, and they pulled it up on the screen for the entire team to watch.
Yeah, I remember that. There was some dude, I don't know when or what team, but his wife was in the Olympics, and he was like, it's kind of a cool thing to see. He was like cheering her on in their film room or whatnot.
Moving along, we have Gerald Everett, tight end from the Chargers. 2 years, 12 million, six of that guaranteed. Great signing, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, yeah. I'm honestly very excited about this. If you watched him play on the Chargers, he was obviously second on the Chargers. He was their tight end too. I can't think of who's their first guy.
I have no idea.
I can't think of him, but I always remember they always brought him in because like his height, man. He's tall. He's like what?
Mhm.
He's 6'3" for a tight end. He's a big dude. You know, it was a very noticeable like Cole Kmet, Justin Fields connection. Obviously last year, like
Mhm.
very noticeable. I'm intrigued to see how that goes with Caleb Williams. Considering he is a lot more pass heavy, and I feel like we'll be open to targeting more people. I think
Yeah.
Justin Fields just really felt comfortable with Cole, but hey, I'm intrigued to see his height. Especially I always remember he's really good at like the sideline. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to get like
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't think of the route, but like you're trying like if you're trying to throw, he's got height. I'm excited. He's a good tight end too. He has experience there, and I think he's going to back up Cole Kmet very well. I just hope they
Yeah.
keep that same like strong tight end dynamic because that's a strong point for sure.
Oh, for sure. And then, coming off of back-to-back years of 80 catches, what more is there to say?
Yeah,
80 catches for a tight end is insane. Yeah, moving along. To be honest, I had no idea who this guy is. Matt Pryor, a tackle from the 49ers, 1 year, 1.175 million with 50 grand guaranteed. He started a little bit, but when he started, he was terrible. So hopefully he's just a depth piece, maybe a roster casualty. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know much about him. He was on the 49ers. That's a good team. He could have learned some stuff from Trent Williams, who's holding out right now because he's got no guaranteed money, but that's a different team, different story. So we'll see. I don't know I don't know enough about him to give my opinion. All right, moving on. We have our sixth signing of the year, Mr. Brett Rippon. I think he's the uncle of the former quarterback for the Redskins.
yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, Commanders. But he's coming from the Rams, a 1 year, 1.124 mil with zero guaranteed. To be honest, he's going to play that number 3 role. Like what's his
Mentor
name?
guy.
Nate Peterman.
Yeah,
Nathan
yeah.
Peterman. That guy was terrible.
Just a straight mentor, man.
Yeah, mentor for Caleb. The next one was a little bit intriguing because I think for a special teams guy, this guy's actually breaking the bank. Amen. Agbong B. Migia.
I don't know if you're saying that right.
Agbong Bamiga. There it is. Agbong Bamiga. Amen
Young guy.
Agbong Bamiga. 6 times the charm. Anyways, from the Chargers, 1 year, 2.1 million. One of that guaranteed. He's a special teamer. He's not going to challenge anybody for a linebacker spot.
No, I
So
don't think so.
to me, that's a special team signing. You're paying him $1 million guaranteed. It is what it is. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just looking. He doesn't really have much really of anything there. He had
Nah,
one sack in 2021, but yeah,
there you go.
yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the signings, especially down here, are just like depth, little things.
Yeah. Yeah. But the next one, Coleman Shelton, center from the Rams, 1 year, 3 million. 1.75 guaranteed. It looks like he's gonna win the center spot out of camp when we break camp. It's between him and Ryan Bates. To be honest, when they made the Bates trade, which we'll get to later, I thought they could have used that pick on a center in the draft and go that way. But Bates was proven whatever. He's played games, started games.
Yeah.
Same thing with Shelton. He started a bunch of games, played well. He's going to be, you need a veteran center for a rookie quarterback.
Well, we did, man, for a long time. Who was it? It was Whitehair, right? Or who am I thinking of? Yeah. And then he got injured towards the end of last year, and he had been injured before.
Played a lot of guard too.
He did, but he was our center for last year, at least at some point. Sure. And I remember, everyone was like, this guy's done. He's cooked. And, we've had a terrible O-line. At least it's been getting better, obviously, but like look back 2 years, 3 years ago, like our O line was horrific. I mean, what 2 years ago, Justin Fields had the most sacks in the NFL, most times
Yeah.
sacked in the NFL. It's just like,
And pressured. Yeah, most
yeah.
pressures.
I mean, you're only as you're as much as people harped on him for not getting the ball out. It's hard to get the ball out when your O line can't
Mhm.
block anything. But we are making improvements, but I think everyone knew the center position was going to need to get filled at some point because last year
Mhm.
Whitehair was there, and then he got injured, and everyone knew that was just it. And then I think the Bears released him,
They cut
or
him.
they
Yeah.
just didn't re-sign him.
No, they cut him, and we're paying some dead cap money right now. But oh well, better than what we would have paid him.
Yeah,
Next signing, Jake Curhan, a tackle from the Seahawks, 1 year, 1.05 mil, none of which is guaranteed. He's a fringe roster spot, a depth piece. Don't know much about him other than when he did play. Once again, he was not very good.
yeah,
Um, he's one of those where you plug him in if somebody gets hurt if you absolutely need him. To be honest, he might end up on the practice squad and or cut outright. The
yeah.
next one was a little later in the cycle. Jacob Martin, a defensive end from the Texans, 1 year, 1.29 mil, 600K guaranteed. He's going to be in a rotation for sure with
Yeah.
Montez Sweat, with the rookie, the Booker we just signed, and I think it's DeMarcus Walker. Is it DeMarcus Walker? Is that his name? It is with Walker, whatever. Next one, Dante Pettis. It wasn't really like a free agent. I guess he kind of was. Um, would it be like a re-sign? I don't know. He was on the IR last year
Yeah.
with an injury. We signed him 1 year, 1.125. It's funny because the Bears social put him up. They put him up with the signings
Like
with
a welcome or
Swift.
something.
Yeah, and he's like, "I've been here before," and then he
Yeah.
just gets off the.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last time he was in a NFL locker room slash NFL, took a snap, was on the field, was in 2022. So
Okay.
injury riddled.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just
probably
football, man. I'm just hoping he can do
probably
something.
a fringe roster spot if he even makes the
I mean,
team.
our wide receiver rooms, we'll get to that, but it's nice and stacked now. Thank God.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough to make it in that team, in that room. Next, Byron Cowart, defensive tackle from the Dolphins, 1 year, 1.125 mil, nothing guaranteed. Really, he's just a body. We lost Justin Jones, who I'm sad to see go in the
Yeah.
defensive line, like the interior. Um, but they're relying heavily on Javon Dexter to take the next step. Apparently, he's lean and mean and looking good. Um, and Zach Pickens, the other guy that they drafted last year. They're looking for those two to really handle the bulk of, and Andrew Billings, the big boy, to take care of that interior of the line. So this guy's really just a body and
Yeah.
rotation guy, not an every down player.
Gotcha.
Next one, Mercedes Lewis.
What is he, 40 now or something, bro?
He's 40 on the dot.
Yeah.
40, tight end number 3, 1 year, 2
Wow.
million,
He's just,
one of
yeah.
which is guaranteed. I mean, maybe he's just there. Maybe Cole Kmet likes the guy or something.
Yeah,
I don't
or I don't know, helping the. I mean, I'd be surprised. Did he even get a snap last year? He definitely didn't get a target. I think
Yeah, he actually got a catch in like
really,
the last game of the year. Yeah,
really.
I mean,
Well, I mean that makes sense. I guess. I mean, we knew we were chalked by then. I guess.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I
for
think
sure,
it's
it's
just
piece in case Everett. And it's kind of funny because Everett started on the PUP list, the physically unable, or the non-football injury list.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's why they signed Lewis, and then the next day Everett ends up on that list. So I don't know if they kind of knew something was wrong with Everett or what's going on with Everett. I don't know what's going on with Everett.
So
I know
is he not participating in camp right now?
no, he is, but he's like a limited
He's like non-contact type stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
some goofy stuff like that.
I don't
The
know.
last
He's gonna be our two anyways, though. So I'm not
yeah,
worried. So
the last signing was DeAndre Carter, wide receiver. He was here before, and we cut him. He played for the Raiders last year. 1 year, 1.2 million, 450K of that's guaranteed. And honestly, that's just the new kickoff rules.
yeah,
He's signing. because now a touchback, it moves up to the 30, so people are gonna hopefully return some kicks this year. That's the hope, which is kind of funny because it was all about player safety why we didn't kick the ball off anymore, and now
Yeah.
they're like, oh well, we need this back in the game. I mean, to be honest, it might be a Devin Hester effect. He makes the Hall, and he may be literally the only return man in the Hall of Fame in the
Probably. I
next
mean, yeah, if this
moving
stays
forward.
the way it
Because,
is. Well,
right,
if
they don't.
you count Dion, I mean, he's in the hall. He could be in the hall without his return man stats, but he is a return man.
Well, yeah. Oh, Dion, yes.
Devin?
Devin, no. Our offseason trades. Moving on to our next segment. Our offseason trades. We're still in the offseason. The trades. The big splash. The
Yes,
big
sir.
one. Keenan Allen. We get him from the Chargers. We give up a 2024. So this past year's fourth round pick for Keenan Allen. I thought it was a steal of a trade. A fourth
100%.
rounder. What are we stealing from the fourth round? I mean,
Yeah. Tom
we
Brady.
got Eddie Jackson
Well,
out of the
Tom Brady
fourth
was
round.
6th round.
We got Eddie Jackson out of the fourth round, but I mean Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
He's a six-time Pro Bowler. He's got over 10,000 receiving yards. He's a 10-year NFL vet, and honestly, his only knock is his injury. He's injury prone. I think last year or last year was one of the first years where he played like 14 or 15 games. I'm pretty sure he missed one of them,
Yeah.
but he's still catching over 1,000 yards.
Oh, I mean, he was my uncle got him in our fantasy league. Absolute fantasy steal. I remember the week that he had 46 points because he had a passing touchdown. Do you remember that? I
Yeah.
mean, that was insane. I mean, he is, we lucked out on the fact that the Chargers, kind of, skimped on him, and he was just like, F that. I'm a vet. I deserve my payday. He wasn't about to stick around there, and that's how we were able to get him for cheap, It was going to be he wasn't going to play, or they pay him a lot, and they're like, okay, get out of here. So we lucked out. That's a huge pickup, man. Good,
Mhm.
a solid vet, a great target, and even
Mhm.
great, even better mentorship that he can get.
For sure. Now that Rome's here.
Yeah,
Ryan Bates. We traded
we
a
already talked. Yeah, I
2024 fifth round pick. Predicted to start. He was predicted to start, take that starting role, but then we signed Coleman Shelton. He's currently in a position battle. I think Shelton's going to win, but Bates will be there in case any of the three, because he plays guard as well. So if Tevin Jenkins or who's on the other side, why am I drawing a blank? I don't know, but
you tell me.
if anybody up front gets hurt, we should be all right with Bates as a depth piece if he doesn't make the.
Yep.
And then the one that the Colt following himself, Justin Fields, was traded to the Steelers, and we got a conditional sixth round pick. He just took.
What does he have to play 51% of snaps, right?
Yes, yes. He's taking first teamer snaps because Russell Wilson woke up with some calf soreness.
Hmm.
So for the last few days, he's taking number one snaps.
I don't know.
To
I don't know.
be honest,
I don't know. I don't know. This isn't a
I,
Steelers podcast. I'm very intrigued about how he's going to fit in there, man. I don't know. So whatever.
Madden did him dirty though. The release
Yeah,
of
with
the trailer in Madden,
him,
he's returning the
him
kick.
returning kicks.
I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. Obviously, with the Bears, he didn't succeed because he couldn't go through his progressions. I loved the guy when we drafted him. I thought, finally we have our quarterback.
Yeah.
But he was just, I mean, peppered.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of
Just couldn't get comfortable. Horrible
not being comfortable and just like a bad team situation, bad, new playbooks, new coaches, bad coaches, bad. It was a perfect storm. And like, I don't know this for sure, but I guarantee if you look at his gameplay from his rookie and his sophomore campaigns versus this last year, his confidence 100% went down. Because like we're looking at the end of his sophomore year, things are looking up, and then we're a third game of last year, and he's not even throwing to wide open targets. I think he just, between having the bad O line and always being pressured, I think You know, it just kind of got to him, and it was just a bad situation.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid because he's definitely got talent.
Yeah, he's athletic.
Super athletic. He's got a really good arm, but it just didn't work here in Chicago. Which moves us on to our next
The draft.
the 2024 NFL draft. And as soon as we saw Justin Field get traded, we knew the writing was on the wall. Too many people. I loved hearing because I'm a huge sports radio guy, listening to it all the time. The Hall. Everybody wanted to dump the number one pick and get the Hall.
Yeah.
Nobody was shooting for it. I think he had his mind made up. Round one, pick one, Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. Former Heisman, models his game off of Aaron Rodgers. I
Mhm.
mean, if he's half as talented as Aaron Rodgers, we have got ourselves a quarterback.
Yeah, generational.
I mean, there hasn't been this much hype for a quarterback since probably Peyton Manning. And to be honest, he's stepping into probably one of the best
Yeah. Yeah.
situations a quarterback has had. He's got
Oh, and for the Bears, easily, literally, probably in definitely in the history of the Bears, best. No
for
doubt in
sure.
my mind.
Yeah. I mean, we have Roma Dunze, who they picked with the ninth pick in this year's
Yeah.
wide receiver from Washington. Um, I don't know if you watched Hard Knocks at all. Do you watch Hard Knocks, the Giants one?
No, I watch like quarterback and wide receiver. You know, I watch the shows where it's about the positions, but I never watched
Mhm.
Hard Knocks. No.
So Hard Knocks this year, they did the offseason of the Giants, and apparently there was a deal in place with the Bears for the Bears to move up to 6 if both Malik Neighbors and uh, uh, Harrison,
Okay.
if both of them were taken, because the Giants were set on Malik Neighbors, and if they thought that the Bears would trade up to draft a tackle, not knowing because their third option after
Was Rome.
was Roman Dunze, and so they were thinking they were going to get him at 9, and they would trade up with the Bears, which is kind of funny how it all worked out because Rome ended up falling into our laps at 9, and he was so close. I know he was so Poles. If you watched any of the draft room stuff, was so close to trading up for Rome, and everybody around him told him no. Everybody told him no, no, don't do it, don't do it. Roma Dunze might end up being the best wide receiver out of that group. I,
Fast.
he's
Very
got
fast.
potential. He's got the potential. And the thing about it is, though, I don't expect a huge rookie season because we have
Yeah,
DJ Moore,
his room is
because
his
we have
wide
Keenan
receiver room
Allen,
is
because we
stacked.
have Cole Kmet, because we have DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. Like, but I still think he's going to be a valuable factor. Like, you can't double Keenan Allen, you can't double DJ Moore, because if you double DJ, you have Keenan Allen, Roman Dunze, Cole Kmet. Like, this is going to
Yeah,
be
there's so many targets.
problematic to play defense against the Bears,
Yeah,
especially
the only
Caleb.
thing that I could see being a slight issue
Mhm.
is at all these wide receivers they have to buy in, man. I know Keenan Allen will, but I could see a slight issue where it's like 2 to 3 years down the line, maybe not regarding Keenan Allen, but between like let's say DJ Moore and Rome, an issue of like an ego battle of wide receiver one type thing. And I just hope that like best case scenario is that we're winning and everyone's sharing touches. You know what I mean? Obviously, someone's hot, but like I just hope there isn't going to be an issue with one of them feeling underutilized when there's just
My
so much talent on the board.
So here's my thoughts on that, especially regarding DJ Moore. He's getting paid big money, first of all, but he was in Carolina with the ultimate ego, Steve Smith,
Hmm.
and he played second fiddle to him, even though he was clearly the best wide receiver on that field. Was it? I don't know if he did. He play with Steve Smith. I might be tripping. Um, no, actually, Steve Smith was probably gone by then.
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't think DJ Moore's that type of player. From his personality, from what he's shown, uh, I think as long as we win and he gets some touches, he'll be
Yeah,
okay.
obviously, is winning's probably hopefully their top priority.
Yeah.
So
Third round, we didn't have a second round pick. Third round, pick 75, Karan Amagaji, offensive lineman from Yale, also from Hinsdale South.
there you go,
Chicago.
Chicagoland hometown hero, bro.
Yeah. Apparently, this kid's going to, when healthy, challenge Borum and Braxton Jones at that left tackle position. And if he turns out to be any good, to have him on the left side and Darnell Wright on the right side, Caleb's going to be in it, be okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be locked down.
Yeah.
Not much there, lineman.
Right. This one shocked me.
This is when you were saying who the hell are we gonna get out of the fourth round. This is who you got out of the fourth round, man.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean,
This guy changed the game, bro. He's a punter and he changed the game.
Yes, but they punted 100 million times at Iowa. Like
all I'm saying is never underestimate the power of a punter, bro. Because like there are so many situations where, like, especially last year, like we're talking about a dude who, when you have the ball on your own 30 or own 25, that this dude's able to pin them back behind their 30, their 20. Like it doesn't sound like that's a big thing, but we're talking about like worse than a touchback start for a team when you have a shitty drive, and that sort of thing happens. And that is like, people underappreciate punters. When we went out there last year, and whoever the fuck was our punter ever since we got rid of Pat O'Donnell, and is hitting like a shitty ass punt, and we just, I think there's something about it. Like, there was some statistic where it was like, when you punt and you don't pin them like so far back, I'm not gonna make it up, but like they score like 70% of the time, and we're talking about like when you put them on, their 40 or their 35, and it's like, those 10 yards between their 35 and their 25 is a big, defensive advantage to have. So I would say don't underestimate the importance of that.
Yeah, Tory Taylor, punter from Iowa. I don't, man, taking a punter in the fourth round, I think he would have made
the
it.
Best punter, apparently, on the planet. So
but he's also 26 years old.
Or he's a punter.
I don't know. I
personally, I think it is a good pick. I mean, I agree it is early, but we are talking about the way they talk about this kid is that he is the Tom Brady of punters. And like, as much as like the utilization there, sure, it's a fourth round pick on a punter, but like, if that's something that we can lock up for the long time and we have the best punter of the league for half a decade, that's a huge tool to have. How many drives can you snuff out because instead of starting them at their 40 or starting them at their 20? It's like, I don't know. That's my take on it. I agree it's slightly early.
Fifth round pick, number 144, Austin Booker, defensive lineman, an edge guy from Kansas. We traded next year's fourth round pick to Buffalo. Man, we really like trading with Buffalo.
And the Chargers, apparently.
But he's a slimmer build, a speed guy. Kind of reminds me of who's the guy that we drafted? Leonard Floyd. He's skinny, fast. Apparently, he's causing mayhem already for Caleb. If he's opposite of Sweat, I think he's gonna be pretty good. And he gives them an option. He's versatile. If they need him to drop back in coverage, he can. He's quick. He's lean. He's fast. More of that outside linebacker ish. Even though we run the 4-3, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what he brings to the table. Overall, loved the draft. Rome and Caleb in the first round. Can't get better than that.
Yeah.
1 and 9, and you end up with James and a Dunze. That's incredible. Which moves on to where we're at in the season right now.
Training camp.
Hard Knocks. The Bears were selected for Hard Knocks. Honestly, I cannot wait. August 6th is the first episode drop on a Tuesday. I will be in California that day, but I will be watching. For sure, I'll be watching. I cannot wait to see. I've been asking for Hard Knocks for the Bears for years. And they've sort of put it off, given every excuse, that you could have not to have it. The Bears had like rookie head coach, not allowed to have it. So we had what was it, Matt Nagy the year we could have got it. There's other reasons as well,
Wait,
but the
why?
Bears, rookie head coaches they don't want on Hard Knocks. It's just a league thing.
Interesting.
So I think the league sort of forced the Bears' hand on this one.
Like they
Um,
told him, like we want. I mean, they're an up and coming team. I don't know. I'm
well,
excited
I
for it.
mean, when you have a talent like Caleb Williams and as much hype as around,
Yeah, I mean
you know,
that's so much publicity for the
for the
league.
league,
Yeah,
yeah, 100% part of the reason why Hard Knocks is coming to Chicago. But I'm excited to see it. It should be really fun to watch, to tune in, to see all the personalities, to see them without their helmets on. Because the football players, you really don't know what they look like, honestly, because they wear a damn helmet.
yeah, facts.
Unless you're scrolling through, like we went to training camp last year, or 2 years ago. Me and the boys and Rosie, we went to training camp to watch, and Velus Jones ended up in uh, Chipotle with us.
No,
Yeah, he was in his flip flops and he had his bear socks still on. I knew who he was because I watched the draft and stuff, but the kids are like, "Who the hell is that?" Like,
did you say
we don't
something
know.
to him?
Nah, we just let him
Bruh,
go.
you
This
should have,
order.
bro. You should have
Wasn't
dapped him up. That would have been cool. You
No,
would have.
no, because if you do that, then everybody it was slammed. Everybody there is going to be like, cry. Would feel
True.
for
True.
the
Yeah, that's
poor
a good
guy.
take. Actually, that's a good
And
take.
he was a rookie. That
Respectful.
was his rookie year, so it was definitely 2 years ago. It was his rookie year. Yeah, Velus Jones comes walking in. He's small dude, but he's got legs like tree trunks. Like
Yeah,
it was
that's
insane.
football players.
But yeah, so like Hard Knocks is it's a good chance for the fans to see, the players without their helmets on, a little bit of their personalities. Like you've already seen some of DJ Moore's personality.
Mm.
They with the mic'd up with Keenan Allen, he's dancing behind him, acting like a clown, being
Yeah.
funny. So it should be fun. Moving on to in training camp, these are some of the questions that we need to answer going into the 2024-25 season, and some of them will be answered in training camp. First question: do you think Caleb succeeds, or will he be a bust?
I think he's going to succeed. I mean, I think all the tools are 100% there for him. He's coming into a great situation. He's as athletic as you want a quarterback to be. Great arm, better than Fields, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Good reads, man. He's quick in the pocket. Sure, he's a little bit slower on his feet, slightly, not by a lot, mind you, than Justin Fields, but he's got good evasiveness in the pocket. He can read pressure well. I'm excited. The only thing that I'm worried about is, like we were talking about before, and this kind of goes into Hard Knocks, is like personality, popularity, sort of ego type stuff. Like, he's got a big ego, and you've heard him talk. He was like, "Oh, there's no way I'll sign with the Bears," shit like that, where it's just kind of like, I feel like he needs to like, not that it's been an issue, but I think for sure with Hard Knocks and all the publicity he's getting, he definitely he needs to focus a lot on football, which obviously will. But that's the only slight issue I have is maybe some sort of personality thing.
and that's the thing. So, like, from every interview that I've sort of listened to and watched, and the real vocal, which we didn't mention before, but re-signed Jalen Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna get to that in one of our next questions, the one about Sweat.
Yeah, we locked him up, man, for a
Yeah,
long
baby.
time. Great signing, but he's been the most vocal. And before we even drafted Caleb, he was, and I think that's what was said about Caleb was more rumors. I don't know if any of that came
To like,
out of his camp for real, but there was mentions of he won't sign with the team unless he gets part ownership.
ownership, yeah.
He won't, he's not going to play for the Bears because he doesn't want to go to the Bears. I don't think any of that was actually said by him. And Jalen Johnson made a great point. He's like, before Caleb was drafted, he said, we don't want to see any of the Hollywood. Like, you can't come into an NFL locker room and bring the Hollywood nonsense with you.
Yeah.
And in all of the interviews and stuff since we've had him, he said the complete opposite. He comes in, he puts his head down, he does his work. He's not very like vocal. He's
Flashy.
not
Yeah.
right. He's none of that. This is the highest paid NIL quarterback of all time.
Mhm.
Like NIL deal of all time. Like he can come in there and talk shit and be who the hell he wants to be,
Yeah.
but he's not. He's listening. He's following directions. He's being a good teammate. He's doing all of the things that people said were not. Like
Yeah.
people were saying, like people kept playing that clip over and over at USC. We got a quarterback now after that one quarterback led them to a victory or whatever in the bowl
Yeah.
game that Caleb didn't play in. The quarterback comes to the sideline. We got a player. We got me or whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
Basically bashing Caleb, saying that he wasn't a good teammate. Yet when they took him and his teammates out to dinner and when they interviewed his teammates, all that they did nothing but praise Caleb. Like
Yeah.
a few teammates said we were down in the dumps, but Caleb kept on me and kept pushing me and turned my football career around. And if he does that in Chicago, I mean, he'll never buy a drink in the city ever again.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've heard that. All good things to hear. My only hope is that he stays that way because, like, we have seen like definitely blips of like a prima donna Caleb Williams and all he is that way right now, and I pray he stays that way because like if he starts playing while we expect him to, there's no doubt in my mind that there's definitely a chance that he becomes that sort of cocky off the field guy too. But no, I agree. I've only heard good things so far. That's just my only slight worry. I think in terms of talent, athleticism, he has everything he needs to succeed. I think he will. And if he doesn't, I'd look somewhere else before I look at him. I'm looking at how other people played, play calls, coaching, before I jump straight to, he's a bust if he doesn't play well.
Which moves on to the next question. Will the lack of an edge opposite Montez Sweat hurt this defense?
So this is what I was getting at when you were talking about Jalen Johnson is that while it could be an issue, it could. I think how good our secondary is depth-wise and just straight up talent, that it's like if teams are scared to, run the ball or like, try to play around him in some way, we have a good, at least secondary threat to where it's like they got to pick their poison type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, Montez Sweat, his greatest asset is being able to stop the run, and his pass rushing skills is like a beautiful second skill.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're not going to run the ball, and even if they could stop his pass rush, we still have a great secondary that I have faith into, especially the deep ball and pressure on their, wide receiver one. That I feel like, unless we're coming into a team that's like wide receiver stacked or a team that has, unless we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that has everything locked up in all the right places offensively, I don't see there being an issue with the Bears needing to pivot in terms of if the team we're playing wants to do a heavy run versus a heavy pass. I don't think that'll be an issue for us.
Who will step up in the defensive tackle room? Is it going to be Gervon Dexter? Is it going to be Zach Pickens? Is it going to be that somebody else? Maybe a surprise.
I don't know. I'm waiting to see. We'll know by the end of camp. We'll see what they decide to go with. I'm intrigued.
I think Gervon Dexter's from in camp and from what everybody's saying, he looks like a different player on the field, which is good. He's apparently taking care of his body, which is always recommended. He's
required.
Not, well, yeah. But we'll see. Zach Pickens, he was the pick right after Dexter last year for the Bears, and they had high upside for him, but he wasn't. I don't know if he got hurt, but he just didn't really see the field that often. So hopefully he turns it around and figures it out right along, because they could be a dynamic duo. And you're talking Sweat, Dexter, and Pickens.
Well, I was saying once again, yeah, because we run a 4-3, right? We just talked about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point, that almost solves our issue of, I know neither of them are going to be edges, but like even if you can get the pressure on that opposite side tackle to Sweat, that's still going to be an issue, you know.
And that's the thing. So in camp, uh, they're doing something to Montez Sweat that has never happened to him in his career. They're moving him around the line, so he's apparently seen some snaps inside. He's seen some snaps on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a good thing with Booker. Now they did the same thing. They moved him inside. They dropped him in coverage. Like the versatility between those two guys should be great. And then Dexter and Pickens in the middle if they pan out. Billings is there. He's a steady hand for to clog up the middle, to free up our linebackers. So it we should be okay on the defensive line. Would I have liked to see them go out and get a big name rusher? 100%.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, that's no. But in our current situation, yeah, I mean, I actually didn't hear that they were moving around the line. Honestly, that's even better to my point about how we're not going to really have an issue if we don't have another huge name guy on the other side because we can move them around, right? It's almost like basketball, right? Somebody's got a worse left hand, you're going to force them to the left, right? If a team has a stronger side of their line and they like to run to that way, and let's say it's not Montez's, normal side. I don't know, is he left or right usually? Right?
he usually plays.
I think it's right. Well, right side if you're on the offensive, so left. I think. I don't know how they do that.
He rushes against the right tackle.
Yeah. So yeah, right side. I don't know if they call that left. I don't. To be completely honest, I don't know.
Whatever. The side that the quarterback can see.
I think that's that versatility is good because it'll force the hands of teams to where it's like the right side of their line or the left side of their line stronger. If we could move him to D tackle on the left or left edge, that's really good for us because then we can force teams to pivot or whatever. Yeah, I didn't know that actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, I heard that today. Also, our last question that should be answered during training camp: was it Fields? Was it Getsy? I think.
I think it was a 75-25, 75 Getsy, 25 Fields. I think it was kind of a snowball.
Yeah. And I think Shane Waldron will be light years different. Apparently, he comes from the same coaching tree as Luke Getsy. But look what he did with Geno Smith. He resurrected that guy's career.
Yeah, quite literally.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that guy got paid, and he better have tipped Shane Waldron handsomely because.
I don't think it's a matter of the style Getsy was going for. I think it was a mix of play calls in a variety of situations, plus a variety of repeated failures. Like there were so many times where we're doing something that you can't think back and remember the last time it worked. And you're like, why are we still doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was a matter of the coaching style. I think it was that, but I think it was a matter of, situations and, I can't think of the word, but like situations and tendencies, I guess, of our offense that he just kept trying to do that just didn't work. And I think it snowballed with Fields to where, like I said, he lost confidence and then sometimes he made the wrong play. But I would put it way more on Getsy than it is on Fields for sure.
Yeah, I mean there was a point in the season where somebody, I don't know who from the Bears said that, or maybe it might have been Justin himself said that there was too much coaching going on. Like, how could there be too much?
No, he did say that. He got a lot of backlash for that, actually.
Yeah, obviously you're doing something wrong when you're getting too much coaching. So like,
I think that was towards like after they won their first. Yeah, I do remember that because people were like, "Bro, like you need the coaching, like you're trash," type stuff.
Yeah.
And
you guys, and it's funny because with the transfer portal in college, players are hopping around programs. You're getting raw talents in the NFL these days where they need to be taught proper technique. Like they're taught so many different things in college, and they're really just an athletic body and something like that in college, as opposed to years past where you would get a 4-year player out of the same school who was literally taught how to play football, where now you're just getting a lot of athletes.
Yeah, people that excel in something. I mean, what are we, we're looking at Joe Burrow, led his team to the Super Bowl second year. This dude goes from, Ohio State, jumps around, finds this, I agree. It's a matter of like, these guys are just bouncing around until they find a program that they fit with, and that's not good for
Ohio State.
Yeah, it's not a good it's not a good recipe for, development.
Caleb, Oklahoma to
Yeah,
USC.
Oklahoma to USC.
I mean, Roma Dunze was literally one of the only ones that stayed at his college for as long as he did. He stayed at Washington. He had the opportunity. They were like they were expecting him to, and he's like, "No, I'm going to stick it out." And he ended up in the national championship with the surprise pick in front of the Bears, Michael Penix, which moves us on to our next and final segment of the podcast.
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes, sir.
our predictions for the year. Record wise, what do you think the Bears' record is going to be? I have my number, and I'll sort of explain the reasoning. But
I don't know, man. As much as I wanna not say 9-8, I wanna say 10-7. I'm feeling a 9-8, man. I'm just feeling a number switch. And no, I'll go 10-7, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like everything we added this year will. I knew that felt like the pieces were in place to at least flip that number, right? Do a 9-8, not an 8-9. But I actually think that the pieces we've added will elevate us that one extra game, and I'm thinking a 10-7. As much I also want to say 11-6, but 10-7 feels like the right spot to go. I'm thinking of 10-7 because we've got the pieces together, but I think this is a team that definitely needs a year or two to develop to get to hit like peak potential.
Yeah, I went 9-8, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go 9-8. And like literally off the bat, we should be 1-0. We're playing the Titans, a terrible team.
Yeah.
And then we go on to Houston. At Houston, that's going to be a tough game. I mean, if CJ Stroud is as good as CJ Stroud was last year, that's going to be a tough team to play against. And then we should beat up on the Colts. We should beat the Rams. We're definitely going to beat the Panthers. We play the Jaguars in London, which I will be at.
Really?
Yeah.
How long are you going?
So I'll be going. We're going to Italy first for a week, and then we're
That's gonna
going
be
to
beautiful.
London just Saturday and Sunday, just basically for the game.
Where are you going in Italy?
We're going to Rome.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're going to Rome, and then we're probably taking a few trips on the train, either to Florence or the Amalfi Coast. So
Wow.
it
Yeah,
should
it's
be
gonna be sick. Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. It sounds fire.
should be a good time. But yeah, and then we have the Jags. We should beat them. The Commanders. We should beat them. The Cardinals. You never know what you're gonna get. The Patriots are terrible. And then we have our division. Our division.
Think we'll beat the Packers finally? I don't know, man.
They're good, man.
I
They're
don't think
sneaky
so.
good.
I don't think so. I
They
think
they look. I hate the Packers. I've hated the Packers. I've hated the Packers for my entire life because, like, they've had. And look, if you're Packers fans, yes, you've won 2 Super Bowls, but you've had 20 plus years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks,
of Hall of Fame quarterbacks that
and
you're only able to get to.
you
Yeah.
only have 2 and one apiece. So Brett got one,
Yeah.
Rodgers
Aaron got one.
But yeah, I don't want to hear it out of you Packer fans. We have one. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I'm the same kind of the same way with Cubs fans. It's like I'm not one of the like, oh, I hate you type of things. My brother's a Packers fan. I don't have like the animosity type feeling like some Bears fans. I'm able to sit here and say like, no doubt the Packers have bested us this whole century, literally
yeah.
this whole century so far. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely at a tipping point where it's like I feel like in the next 5 years the scales may tip the next 3 or 4 years. But for this year, I think the Packers still definitely have a speed.
And the best part about it is now that they've paid Jordan Love, I think they're
Highest paid quarterback in the NFL. That's insane, by the way. Insane.
Yeah, they just bested Tua's deal, right?
Yeah, and people were tweaking about that. They're like, oh, a quarterback that sat on the bench for 3 years is getting paid more than Tua, but yeah.
I mean, but that's just the way the Packers do it, though. I mean, look how many years Rodgers sat behind Favre.
But that's what I'm getting at. Is it's like honestly, that could be a slight recipe to their success, where it's like you get a dude that once they know they locked up a dude with raw talent, you throw him behind another dude that learned from a great. And I mean, Jordan Love played very well last year, man. I know this is the Packers podcast, but definitely like more so than I expected.
40 touchdown passes?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a better season. He had a better season in his first year with the Packers than any Bears quarterback has had in history.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think it was something like a 40, 50, more, a little more than halfway through the year. He had more like passing yards. Yeah, something insane. He played very well.
I mean,
Very
I'm
well.
pretty sure he threw for over 4,000 yards,
I don't
40
know what his touchdown
touchdowns.
to interception ratio was, but it was probably good.
It's pretty damn good. I'm pretty sure he threw for 4,100 yards. Oh no, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions with a 96 QBR.
3-1. Yeah.
That's pretty damn good. And they
Yep.
finished 9-8.
Yeah. I
Um,
honestly, I think a lot of that was less on him and more on just everything in general with the team.
so that's the record. You say 10 and what'd you say? 10-7.
I said 10-7. I was leaning towards the like you did with the flip, but I think we put on enough talent, especially in terms of like the veteran presence on the team, to where we don't need that extra year. You know what I mean? We have DJ Moore, we have Keenan Allen, we have Everett, and we have Swift. Like there's pieces that we added that don't need that year.
So I heard something on the radio today or yesterday, and I was a bit like thrown back because somebody threw out a number. They threw out Caleb Williams' stat line for the year. If he throws for 3,500 yards, I think it was like 26 touchdowns and like 10 interceptions, would you consider that season a success?
Oh, are you kidding me?
All right. Somebody said that they would not be happy with that season.
That's
This is
insane.
radio today. And
That
I
that
said,
would be like top
you,
10 Bears quarterback seasons in history, bro. Right
you
there.
would literally have like the third or fourth best passing yards per season, maybe
Yeah.
even like top three.
I They've
Definitely
never had a
four.
4,000 passing yards or a 40 touchdown.
I mean, to be honest, if he throws for that, I'm through the roof. Like as a rookie, there's only been one quarterback in NFL history, rookie season, throw for 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was,
I don't know who it was either.
but they mentioned the name, whatever. Oh, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was literally the only one
Wasted
that threw for
talent.
30 touchdowns,
So unfortunate.
30 touchdowns in his rookie season, and he threw for like 4,500 yards that year too. I think he had the greatest quarterback rookie season of all time.
That's true.
But if he does that, like it's only up from there, and up from there is franchise records.
Yeah.
Like, does that say a lot about our franchise? Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, like that's, I mean, Lamar Jackson threw for 3,800 yards and won
And
an
he was the
MVP.
MVP. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're taking 3,600 in a heartbeat. That means that Allen's got 1,000 yards. That means Dunze or DJ has 1,000 yards. That means like like if you think about it, if you really just break it down by yards, DJ is getting 1,000 yards if he's healthy. He's had 6 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna get the majority of the targets. He's gonna catch the damn ball. He's gonna be a yak guy, yards after catch. So he's going to get 1,000. Keenan Allen's could potentially put up 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if Dunze puts up 600, Komet puts up 600, Gerald Everett puts up 400 or 500. Like you're literally going to get over 3,000 yards easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he
just
has
from the potential alone.
Yeah, he has so many weapons, so much talent around him that. I mean, if he does anything less than that, then I'm disappointed because he has way too many weapons, or he wasn't healthy for the season, which is something that we have to address.
I agree. I think that would be I can't believe someone said that wouldn't be a good season.
David Kaplan, ESPN 1000. I'm calling you out, Cap.
Yeah, the only thing that I could say might be a slight hindrance is, like you said about the new guy we have, that he tends to stray towards more what Getsy was thinking is. I'm intrigued to see how balanced they decide to go with the playbook because, we're not, we are dealing with some decent talent at halfback now. So I'm very intrigued to see the
That's a
balance between all that. And not to digress, but CMC is my MVP. Not to digress. I love Lamar. I like his play style. I thought he did have a phenomenal year, but we're talking about a dude that scored in 14 straight games, man. And he is the Madden cover. Not to digress, but CMC's my MVP. Moving on though.
No, yeah, that running back room, and I love to hear that that Swift is okay splitting carries, because if he was going to come in and be like, no, I'm running back one, I want all of the carries, like, dude, we have Khalil Herbert back there, we have Roshan Johnson back there, like,
Yeah.
there are body, like, and Roshan's supposed to take the next step. He showed some promise last year, but obviously he got concussion, and dealt with concussion. Herbert hurt his leg last year, making that fluky, like, trying to catch a pass. He, like, I don't know what he
Yeah,
did to
yeah, I
his knee.
remember. I remember that.
His knee, like, collapsed underneath him trying to catch a ball. But whatever. So the fact that he's open to being able to split the carries is something that says a lot about his character and what he wants to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I think a lot of what the culture is built around in that building is selflessness, and whatever is good for the team will be is what is expected, which I love to see. To be honest, I really don't think there's very many egos in that building that are too big for that team.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, part of that also comes from the fact that we're talking about a running back that was on one of the better teams in the history, at least in recent memory, that he's coming to a team where he very well knows he was replaced. I mean, let's be honest. He was replaced by someone who was better and someone who was younger. And I think he's coming and he sees that this is a great opportunity to start again with another young team that has similar potential. And it's just like I think he took the high road and the better route, like you're saying, being like, I want to help this team achieve what they can versus kind of like a blaze of glory. I'm
Mhm.
coming from this great team. Let me be, that guy. I think he definitely is making the right decision in terms of for team success.
And then our last sort of prediction slash question slash, who do you think the leads the Bears this year in receiving? Is it Keenan Allen? Is it Roma Dunze? Or is it DJ Moore?
So my opinion, definitely not Rome. I just don't think that's there. I'm gonna say more because he's younger than Allen, so I think he definitely has more stamina for the reps, right? How many reps he's gonna get. He's
Mm-hmm.
less injury prone than Allen. And I
Mm-hmm.
think overall, when you look at our wide receiver room, he's the one that right now is gonna get us the most publicity, the most reach, the most well-known name on it. Well, maybe you could say Allen, but I think his age difference on them and his perfect level of like experience to still having that youthful kind of like pep in his step, sort of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, still that peak athleticism thing is, I think it'll be like if he has 1100, Allen's going to have 900 to 850, and Rome will have, like you said, like 600 to 700. I think it's going to be like closer between Allen and Rome than it is Allen and Moore, in my opinion. I think Moore's going to be like a decent receiving leader for us.
Yeah,
That's what
he had 1,200 plus last year. I think he matches that this year. And look, he's not going to be double teamed like he was last year. Like I said before, you're not going to be able to double team DJ Moore. You're not going to
Yeah,
be able to double team Keenan Allen. My biggest thing is to be honest, if Roma Dunze leads our team in receiving, we have an issue, because
yeah, I would
that
agree.
means either A, Keenan Allen was hurt, DJ Moore's not getting targets, or Moore is hurt and Keenan Allen's not getting targets. And that's an issue, in my opinion. So as much as I want Adunze to succeed, I don't want him to lead this team next year in
Yeah,
receiving.
neither do I. I think he should be the
Unless
least out of those
somehow,
three.
right, unless somehow he
Yeah.
just
I guess the
has.
best scenario, if he leads, it turns out that he's some fucking something insane. Like if he's leading, I want him to be like he's the best receiver in the history of the NFL we've ever seen, rookie year type
So
shit.
the thing about that is, though, his comps coming out of the draft were Jamar Chase, if he's Jamar Chase, we've got ourselves a dime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've
100%.
got a diamond.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
honestly not Bears related, but I'm very interested to see how MHJ does as well because I kind of want to like piece together, and that also falls on how Fields does. Because if Fields, let's say Wilson has another stinker, which I'm expecting, and he comes in and he does well, and we see MHJ go insane, it's kind of like a what could have been thing. But
Right.
I am intrigued to. That's going to be interesting to put together. Is like if in my opinion, if Rome comes within 80, 70, no, 70, 65 to 70% of what MHJ is able to produce next year, 100% a steal, in my opinion. We're talking
Yeah.
about a dude that was supposed to be a generational wide receiver. If
Mhm.
Rome can compete with him on some like factory level, then that's a steal, in my opinion, because we get that and supposed to be a generational quarterback.
I would highly recommend you watch that Giants
The
Hard
Hard
Knocks.
Knocks. Because
Yeah,
was it
because
like
they talked a lot to Rome. Rome makes quite a bit of appearances in there. MHJ's in there. Malik Neighbors obviously is in there. It's pretty cool. I mean, it shows you the front office and how they maneuver and how they work in the off season, which I think is pretty cool. Because my dream as a kid was always to be a GM of a team, um, and obviously I never really pursued that dream.
yeah?
But I like it would be so. It's just so cool to see the inner workings of that. But any final thoughts on
Nah, man, I'm just excited to get the season going, man.
that's
Yeah,
it?
that was it, man. Episode 1. We got a lot coming in the future. This is just a snippet of what hopefully will be a 10-7 season, baby.
10
Let's
and
get it.
17. I'll take a 10 and 7.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
take a 10 and 7. I'm Steve, aka Bronx. That's Matt,
Matt, aka Nemo. Thanks for
and
tuning in.
that's episode 1 of the Den.
Hello.